Hi everyone, this presentation is going to go through on how to conduct yourselves over Teams and make sure that you are communicating via Teams in a professional manner. So firstly, it's really important that you are using correct spelling, punctuation and grammar on all areas of Teams, whether that be in a chat or whether you are messaging a teacher directly. It's really important to make sure that you're using correct spelling, punctuation and grammar because this is a professional setting and it is important that you are remaining professional. When you leave school and go into a work environment or into further education, employers and lecturers will be picking up on people who are not using correct spelling, punctuation and grammar. Furthermore, when you are creating a CV or applying for a job, you need to make sure that you can use these skills in order to communicate effectively with employers and so on. So, when you are on Teams, you need to make sure that you are addressing members of staff and other students in a formal manner. So, when messaging teachers directly, you should always address them in a formal manner and state why you are addressing them. Secondly, you must ensure that you are writing in full sentences and using full stops and capital letters. It is not WhatsApp, you cannot use text talk, you need to make sure that you are writing in full grammatical sentences. Further on, like I've said, you need to make sure that you are checking your spelling. Have you spelt words correctly? You should not be writing in text talk, it should be as if you would be completing an essay or an email at school. Secondly, you need to make sure that you are observing deadlines. So this means in regards to submitting assignments, messaging teachers, outside of school hours and so forth. So firstly, do not message outside of school hours. It's not professional and teachers and other students need to make sure that they are looking after their well-being and having a break outside of school hours. So if you need to message a teacher, you need to make sure that it is within the school hours and not past 4 p.m. Secondly, do not expect teachers to respond outside of school hours or straight away. Right? If we was in school and there was an issue, you would need to give time for teachers to respond to that issue. It's the same over Teams. You have to remember that we are juggling many different platforms and we're in different lessons, so you need to make sure that you don't expect us to respond straight away. You must remember that whilst you are emailing us in a particular lesson, we may be in another live lesson. Thirdly, do not spam teachers' inboxes. So this means do not message teachers constantly if they have not responded to you straight away. You need to make sure that you are giving teachers time to respond to your inquiries in detail. Number 4, ensuring you are meeting deadlines for assignments. Okay. If there is a time set on assignments, you need to make sure that you have uploaded and turned your work in within that time frame. You will receive a behaviour point if work is not submitted on time. And lastly, if you receive a behaviour point because you have not submitted your work on time or you have not actively engaged in the lesson and you want to inquire about that behaviour point, you need to make sure you're asking in a professional manner and not demanding that teachers remove behaviour points. And lastly, you need to consider your behaviour during live lessons. You need to act as you would if you were in the classroom. So live lessons are a challenge for all of us and we're all trying to adapt to this new way of learning. So it is really important that you are doing the following to help other students and teachers. Firstly, always ensure your mic is muted when joining the lesson. It can delay the lesson if teachers are then having to state, can you mute your mic? So just make sure when you enter the lesson, it's muted straight away. Waiting for the teacher to ask you to respond, don't shout out answers. So whilst we love that you are actively engaging in the lesson, please just make sure that you either send a note that you would like to respond or wait for the teacher to ask you. Thirdly, actively engaging in lessons, okay, because we could ask you a question at any time. It is not appropriate to be signing in and thinking then you then don't have to engage in the lesson. You need to remember that the learning that you are doing now will have an effect on you when you go back into lessons next year. So it is important that you're actively engaging in lessons and responding to the teacher. And lastly, ensuring that you are completing work to a sufficient standard and sticking to deadlines. If there are any issues in terms of not being able to complete work, then you need to address this with the teacher. But make sure that you are completing work in a set time frame and that you are making sure that you're turning it in on time. So overall, you just need to make sure that you are acting professional over Teams and acting as if you were in a classroom environment.